How's it going, YouTube? JamieTheKid00 here, coming to you guys with another kind of, hopefully, in-depth deck profile / tournament report. I ended up playing Prophecies at my locals yesterday, and sadly I did go 2-2, but I guess I'll explain the matchups at some point in the video, and I felt that my losses were beyond my control. I lost once to Battling Boxers because he opened Thunder King, 5 back row, and then went standby phase and anti-spell fragrance, and I couldn't get around his Thunder King and back row, and I ended up kind of grinding out that situation. I almost managed to get board control. All I needed was a Fiendish Chain to stick when he was attacking the game, but he top-decked into an MST, so I lost. Otherwise, and then my other loss was to Dragon Rulers. Game 1, he opens... Dragon Eating Rulers. Game 1, he opens crazy with like 6 cents, all of the main plays. And then Game 2, I'm doing fairly well. He's opened meh. I have pretty much board control, and then he returned from the different dimensions for game. So, that's how it went. But either way, I was playing the Priestess variant. Those of you who know me and know how I play Prophecy will know that I'm a really big fan of the World variant, but I was advised by quite a few people that the World variant just isn't as good as the Priestess variant. So I ended up testing the Priestess variant, and it is a lot more consistent. And it does go plus quite a lot easier. World has a few more inconsistencies. So I ended up playing this at the locals, and it was a lot of fun. The games I won, I was really solid in. The games I lost were the ones where it opened really shaky. So if this deck can establish solid board control, it's almost impossible to get over. So we're going to get into the list, and the only thing I would change in this list is my trap lineup, because my trap lineup was a bit subpar. I'm pretty happy with the main. The side and extra are really hodgepodge, and they were built at literally 3 AM before the tournament, because I've been busy with my uni work, so those could do with some work. But if you want to build this deck or play this deck, I would advise following this main deck, but with a few changes that I'll probably discuss. So we're going to start off the list. I only played 2 Priestess. 3 Priestess I feel can clog a fair amount. I would see the mentality in running the 3rd Priestess, and I wouldn't dislike it, but it also has a lot to do with the fact that I only own 2, which should hopefully change in the future. But I feel that 2 is all you need. Dropping 1 almost always gives you the game if you have the correct backup for it. A second one is really just what you want to use for your overkill push or your OTK push. So you can usually just make these 2 and have, say, like a Justice or a Kycoo, and then find power. Find power and master, and you should win. So that's the Priestesses. They are your Dark Arm Dragons. There's really not much to talk about with the main deck of this, because it's all really self-explanatory. They then played 3 copies of Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. Spellbook Magician is your Stratos. He is your body. In almost all of your opening plays, you want to, if you don't actually have this, you want a Secrets for him, just so you have the body on board for your Tower or your Fate, because you don't want to be spellcasterless. You almost always want to have a monster on table every turn in this deck. So you really want to protect your monsters. I played the 3 Magician, but I also maxed out on Justice. Justice was in there for the Priestess, basically. Normally in the World build, I do still play Priestess, but I play 1 Justice. In this, I maxed out on Justice, and it was a really, really nice open. Sometimes it's a wee bit awkward when you open it and you really want to play Tower, but of course you're not going to be able to use the Tower next turn because you won't have a Spellcaster in grave. So Justice is a bit awkward, but I absolutely love opening it, being able to just set 1, which is usually a trap. Play 1 Spellbook, and then banish her for Secrets and a Priestess, which is almost always what you search. So she was just really powerful. Or she can also search Wisdom to accompany the Priestess if you're playing against a deck that has excessive back row. Something that I maxed out on, which is normally reserved for the side deck, but I moved right into the main board, is triple Kycoo. Kycoo was in here for the Dragon matchup and for any other grave-based matchup. I really, really like this card. It puts in so much work against so many different decks. I can't actually remember what I actually played against and won against. I honestly cannot remember the decks. I played against Agents, and this card was absolutely incredible against Agents. And at some point I'll remember the other deck that I played against. I'm feeling a bit stupid now. But it was overall it was a really good card. I really liked using it. 1800 is a huge attack for a normal summonable body, and couple that with power, it's able to at least crash with any Dragon Ruler, kill over Dracossack, Big Eye, all that kind of stuff. And he's just a really awesome card at locking down some of the top tier decks, and he's amazing in the mirror as well. Like in the mirror match, he's second to none. And something that I tried, which the other Prophecy player at my locals, who has won with a very similar list, a card he doesn't play is Tsukuyomi. I really like Tsukuyomi because it helps you get around so many rogue things. It's a really versatile card. Helps you get around the Ophion, helps you get around all sorts of things that may be locking you out. Or just really big beaters, and it's really good against Kycoo in the mirror. And I thought he was going to be playing Prophecy, so I thought this would be good against that, good against Evil Swarm players, which are at my locals. I'm just good against random stuff. I wouldn't see myself playing this at a major event, because I really don't think it's very good against dragons, which are a huge part of the field, and Gear, which is now going to be a big part of the field because it won YCS Turin. But I do like this card at locals just for dealing with rogue stuff. So that is the monster lineup. It is a 12 monster lineup. I like 11 a lot more than I like 12, so this is probably going to come out in a future build of the deck for a trap, but it was good enough today. So for the spells, we play 1 Dark Hole because you want the mass removal. This deck isn't dragons, it can't mass remove, so you want the Dark Hole. The 1 book, Book of Moon is really good with your Book Magicians because Fiendish Chain is a really popular card at the moment for some reason. So it's just really, really powerful in that regard. I played 3 Duality because you want to be able, if you don't open well, or if you're in a game state where you just don't have your pieces, you're able to Duality fairly easily. Duality is only really bad in turns where you want to play Life or you want to play Priestess. In any other turn, Duality is really good, and except when you have this, but we'll get to that in a bit. So I felt that 90% of the time Duality was going to be a very good play, and it was really useful. A lot of the time I sided 1 out, but that's mainly because it's common. So siding into 2 in game 2 and 3 was a lot easier for me, but I really like playing the triple Duality just to aid your consistency. Another card that really actually aids consistency, even though a lot of people hate it and a lot of people love it, is the 3 Spellbook Library of the Crescent. Crescent is just another way to find your combo pieces right at the start of the game. If you open Crescent, it can get you the secrets if you don't have it. It can get you to Master, which lets you try again, or it can get you to another card like Tower. It's also really awesome because you can get this off and get the secrets. You can then go Secrets, Magician, Master, searching Fate. And you then have 3 spellbooks engraved, whereas normally the Secrets, Magician, Master, Fate would only get you 2. So library is really, really good. And then later on you can just use it for all sorts of versatile purposes. It does come alive quite a lot in situations where you have 3 books engraved, you Fate and then Tower back that Fate. You can then play this. So it is live mid to late game, but you need to keep your grave at a fair ratio. So carrying on with the books, we play 3 secrets. You need to play 3 secrets. I'm not even going to talk any more about secrets. Double Master, I don't like 3. 3 Master is way too many, and if you're playing supers, you don't deserve to play this deck, because this deck is beautiful with all of its secret rares. I really like Master for its versatility. It lets you add more books to grave with the Secrets Master combo to stock Fate. It's really good at getting all your stuff out of the remove from play, because if you have a Secrets and a Master banished because of Fate, you can go Eternity, get Master, copy that Eternity, get the Secrets, so all of your books are now back in grave. Well, both those books are still now back in grave, so it can restock the grave again for various things. It's also really good in combination with Spellbook of Power because it's able to boost your guy by 2k, so it's a really versatile card in that respect. Double Spellbook Tower, I felt that 1 is far too few, 3 is way too many, so the 2 Tower is perfect. It's really good against anything that uses a field spell, but you do have to hold it quite frequently. So it does have a bit of trouble against dragons because dragons have access to Ancient Fairy, so you really need to hold your Fates for the Ancient Fairy Dragon play, and hold your traps for the Ancient Fairy Dragon play, but if you can keep them out of their ravine, it's awesome. I then play Double Fate. 3 is, again, way too many. You're only really going to be using 1 per turn because it is a 1 per turn card, so you want to at most have 1 for your turn and have 1 for your opponent's turn, because you do have some situations in which you have to remove something from your opponent's field or you're going to lose, and then you have 1 to protect you. I then play Double Eternity because you banish a lot more in this deck now, and Eternity just acts as a pseudo-secrets late game. It also, having 2, gives you the versatility that you can banish 1 with Fate if you absolutely have to. So it's an option, but you really want to try and keep these cycling back in with Tower. You never really want to have these banished, because when they're banished, they're gone for good, basically. And your banished zone is completely out of your hands. Then for the one-off books, I play 1 power. You only ever need the 1. You'll only ever activate it once per game, really. Twice if you're lucky. But the 1 book of power is plenty. The 1 wisdom, because traps are becoming a lot less seen in this format. Mainly because the Dragon Ruler deck only plays a few traps that you'd really want a wisdom. And I don't know, I just never find myself realistically needing it against many other decks. The only card that means you can't get Priestess back is Bottomless. Like, if they Torrential it or anything like that, you can life it. Otherwise, you want to have the Wisdom for like the Bottomless and things like that. Once you've seen the Bottomless go, you can just throw your Priestess out there because you can immediately life it back. I only like 1 life in this build because you only really need it once. It's searchable, so it is a Monster Reborn that can be searched, so you don't need to be playing more than 1. I liked it at more than 1 in the world because you could cycle the world, but I think 1 life is plenty. And that rounds off all our spells, so I'm not sure how many I played. All I know is this is a 40 card deck, and I built it really fast. The traps are pathetic, but this is what I ran. I ran Double Chain. Double Chain is just you're out to generic effects. Double Phoenix Wing Blast. This is good against dragons. It gets around almost anything. So that was why I played it. 1 Compulse and 1 Warning. There should have been a Torrential and a Mirror Force in here, and I don't know what I'd cut, but it should have looked like that. But that was the complete main deck. The extra is 8 Xyz and 7 Synchros, and it should be vastly different. I'll say now, there should have been a Cowboy in here, there should have been a Master Key Beetle in here, and neither of which I put in, because I went through my binder in the morning and went, well, it was the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and went, you're good, go in, you're good, go in, you're good, go in, and I didn't really think about the actual really techie stuff that you'd ever actually make. So, here's what I played. I played 1 Shining Elf. Shining Elf is your go-to guy, but you don't want to go into him willy-nilly. You really don't want to go into him if you only have 2 Magicians. You want to go into him if you have 2 Magicians and, say, a Kycoo or a Priestess. The reason why you don't want to go straight into him is because he'd then be your only spellcaster, and if your opponent were to book him or just remove him, you're then locked out of Fate, whereas having multiple spellcasters makes it harder for your opponent to lock out your Fate. So remember that, kids. The 1 Herald of Pure Light, just for cycling stuff out of the graveyard. The 1 Gachi for making your guys bigger. Again, that's another card you only want to make when you have 2 Magicians and a guy. Played 1 Dweller for locking graveyards, so good against Mermail, good against dragons. I played 1 Blackship because it's now actually illegal over here. I only threw it in because it's now legal. This should have been like Cowboy or Master Key, but I was stupid. The 1 Big Eye because he's Big Eye and he's a spellcaster, so you don't lose your spellcaster when you overlay 2 Priestesses. The 1 Mecha Fan Beast Dracossack because Dracossack is really good for removal. I really like him. And the 1 Hierophant because if your opponent sets loads and you have the Wisdom, they lose all the back row, basically. So that's the Xyzes. The Synchros are fairly generic. They are Catastor for monster removal, Armades for getting around any big trap lineups, anything like Kalut or Honest or Bajingi Crane, Tempest Magician because of time, mainly, Arcanite Magician because you can remove so many things. It's a spellcaster as well. Black Rose, nuke the board. Ancient Fairy Dragon, dragons, and Crimson Blader, dragons. Then people will ask, which really infuriates me, I get these comments on every Prophecy deck I make, how do you make your Synchros? You don't main any tuners. Well, in my side deck, I have 2 Veilers. I always have 2 Veilers, or 3 sometimes, or I main them, and I have Book of Life. So you Book of Life this, or Book of Life another spellcaster, and it gains levels equal to the spellcaster you banished, so it can be any level, almost, and then you summon the Veiler, or you summon the other material. So this Veiler can be any level, the material can be any level, so you can make almost any level Synchro. That's how you do it. So people can stop asking about that, because it annoys me. I don't understand how people can't see how you Synchro in this deck. But if you can't see how you Synchro in this deck, you shouldn't be playing this deck. So for the sideboard, I play Double Veiler, because I have to play Double Veiler, because of the Synchros. I like the access to the Synchros, and Double Veiler has just put in work for me time and time again. I played Double Maxi. These were really bad. I'm going to cut these straight away, so I'm not even going to talk about those. They just put in no work. I'm going to cut them immediately. Double Fossil Diner. These cards were amazing. This was insane against the Agent player at the most part, and it was okay in the Dragon matchup, but otherwise it didn't really see much. But it was good when I actually saw it. So there were Fossil Diners. The Double Breaker. I really like Breaker. It gives me access to a body, which is a spellcaster, which is awesome, and it then gives me outs to opponent's back row. And it's going to, at the very least, bait out a trap. And then if that baits out the trap, and you can Wisdom him, and then you can kill the other back row, which is great. So he's just really good at clearing the way for your drops. I played, for my spells, the 1 Fissure. I really like Fissure. It really is... It's a bit ignorant, but it just shuts so many things out. I just love being able to shut out decks that rely on their grave. Double Mystical Space Typhoon. I felt that the 3 was a bit overkill because you have the Breakers, you have the Priestess. You just have loads of ways of dealing with your opponent's back row. Double DNA surgery for anything that may rely on its types. Like, I guess Fire Fist, Bujin was a big concern, and the mirror. Like, if I'm in a situation where I can change types, and I don't have a fate or anything, and they have a big setup, this will at least help me. And then I played Double Rivalry, because there were so many decks that lose to Rivalry right now, I really wanted to have access to the Rivalry of Warlords. So, yeah guys, this hasn't been as in-depth as I'd like it to. I'm probably going to list this as in-depth on my channel because it is 15 minutes. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have any questions, post them in the comment section below, and I'll try and reply to them. This new reply system is stupid. But yeah, any comments, advice, suggestions, please just drop them in the comment section. And I guess I'll see you guys when I see you. This is Jamie the Kid 00. Hope you enjoyed. Peace out.